好，Hello，大家晚上好。那欢迎大家准时来到我们原力开放日的直播间，我是今晚的主持人 Justin。很高兴呢又和大家在同一时间见面了。那关注 Web3的小伙伴呢，我相信你们一定对 DAO 这个组织这样的一个形式非常的熟悉。那因为作为随着一个 Web3生态兴起的一种新的模式，在过去这2年呢，DAO 其实也是普及的非常非常的快，各种各样的 DAO 呢就跟雨后春笋一样的冒出来。那它到底有什么样的魅力呢？那或许我们今天的分享呢，可以给到你一些答案。Hello everyone, welcome to our first open day. I'm tonight's host, Justin, and I'm happy to see you all again on Tuesday night. So as a new governing form that emerged with Web3 ecosystem, DAOs have been gaining popularity very fast in the past few years, and a variety of DAOs has sprung up. So what's the appeal of it? Maybe our sharing today can answer some of your questions. 那我们常说的 DAO 其实是指的去中心化自治组织是区块链，是基于区块链的一种团体。那围绕着一个共同的想法或者项目组织起来。那通常呢，他们会发行一个 token 来执行管理。从一个准备启动的社区团体，再过渡到一个有资金支持、成长阶段的实体，那可能会面临到诸多的挑战。那 Origami 其实呢，就是想要再通过为 DAO 组织来提供一个技术框架和指导，来缓解这个过渡阶段 DAO 可能会遇到的一些问题。那该项目呢，其实已经在 Bloomberg Beta 领头的一轮融资中筹集到了620万美元的融资。那 Origami 呢，也是全方位支持 DAO 的运行，那包括原生的 token 的铸造软件的运行、白皮书的撰写，以及说智能合约的编译等需求，他们都是可以提供支持的。Decentralized autonomous organizations, or also known as DAOs, are blockchain-based groups organized around a shared idea or project and are often governed by a native crypto token, making the transition from a pre-launch community group to a founded growth stage entity can come with growing pains. Origami aims to ease that transition with a technological framework and a guidance for DAOs. The project has raised $6.2 million in a founding round led by Bloomberg Beta, the early stage venture firm backed by Bloomberg LP. Origami supports all aspects of launching and running a DAO, including native token minting or creation, operational software, documents, and the smart contract needed for a project. 好，那我们也就话不多说了，进入到我们本期开放日的正题。那我们很高兴的邀请到了我们这个 Origami 的市场负责人 Mr. Andrew Warner 为我们来揭秘DAO的神秘力量。So without further ado, let's dive right into tonight's session. And we're so honored to have Mr. Andrew Warner, the head of marketing at Origami, join us today and share the secret powers of DAOs. So now let's welcome Mr. Warner to come and join us. Let's welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'll share my screen for this presentation. Thanks. And
our pleasure.
I'll bring it up right now. And are you able to see my screen okay?
Yeah, cool. Everything's fine. Let's begin.
Wonderful. All right. So yes, my name is Andrew. I'm here from Origami. We help ambitious communities launch and grow their DAOs. My role there is actually to just help grow more DAOs in general. I would personally love it if people used Origami to create their DAO, to grow their DAO, to manage it, because I know how great our software and our team is. But my big goal is just to help anyone who has a vision to create a DAO, to bring people together and have them work well together to do more than they could ever on their own. My role is to help them create a DAO, no matter where or how they want to do it. And of course, as we just discussed, a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. I've heard it said that it's simply a group of people with a shared mission who grow a treasury. Today, I'm going to talk about what we do, but before I talk about what we do, I want to talk about why we do it. What's the purpose? What's the reason? What's our mission? Why we're here? I think is more important even than the tools that we use to do the work that we do. You see, in general, in the startup space that I've been in basically my whole life, the way things have worked is one entrepreneur comes in front of a room full of investors, stands up, and is confronted by skeptics. He explains his story. They don't usually hear him out. And often they just shout the person down and move on. That's the way that investments have worked. Well, there's a handful of people whose companies have done really well. They've raised money from the premier investment company here in the US called Y Combinator. These are people like the founders of Airbnb, the founders of Dropbox, Coinbase, Rappi, Zapier, Stripe, and over 3,500 others. And they've done really well for themselves. And after raising money from Y Combinator, these entrepreneurs didn't just build their companies. This group of entrepreneurs also went on to help each other out, to support each other. And I've watched this over the years. If one of them needs to hire someone, the other will come in and help them think it through. If one of them needs to raise more money, the other might even invest, if not come in and help them find other investors. They've helped each other for years, but there's a problem with support groups like this. And if you've ever been a part of an online group, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, this is an online group of people who are maybe entrepreneurs who help each other, or maybe they're just parents who come together, or maybe they're neighbors who come together. Wherever it is, what I and others have found with online groups is the members often will have one person who's super engaged, who does everything, who's the person you can call on in the middle of the night and they'll be there to help, but that person is often exhausted because they have to do everything, or it feels like it, they have to do a lot. And there's often that member who everyone calls on who is just exhausted working nonstop. But there's another problem with groups, and that is that there's often a member who's just ignored. You've seen them, someone who has something to contribute but doesn't stand up and speak up, doesn't know how to integrate themselves into the group, and as a result, he is ignored or she doesn't have much to do. And then of course in groups, and you've seen this in all kinds of groups, there's the underutilized person, somebody who just doesn't have anything more than just the basics to do, and they want to do more and they're ready to do more. And then finally, I won't go through all the list of problems with loosely structured groups, but there's also lack of reward. People help each other out, but there isn't a reward for them. There isn't a reason to do it beyond a pat on the back, a nice thank you, which is nice, but it's not enough. And so these groups tend to fall apart. Exhausted people, ignored people, underutilized, unrewarded, they fall apart. Well, this group of entrepreneurs who I mentioned earlier, who raised money through Y Combinator, who built up their companies, this group of entrepreneurs decided to go beyond just a loosely structured group and create a DAO that they call Orange DAO. An Orange DAO will help entrepreneurs, help teams get funded. And they don't do it in the traditional way where they're sitting behind a desk and they're yelling at entrepreneurs, or where they're making them explain and justify themselves. No, they do it from a place of camaraderie. This group of entrepreneurs will talk to their friends, will find out what projects make sense, and will help them get funded. And many people say, well, this sounds a lot like a venture capital firm with maybe a little bit of a nicer process. Why didn't they create a traditional firm? Why do they have to create Orange DAO? Well, the benefit of a DAO is that they could have a bigger team. There are many benefits. A bigger team, for one thing, means that they could have not just 10 people coming together and helping to make investment decisions and supporting the entrepreneurs whose projects they invest in. A bigger team means they could have dozens, maybe hundreds of people, maybe more. And then as you can see in number 2, there's the obsessives versus the passives. There's some people in Orange DAO who could be super obsessive, who could just really want to be engaged and help fund companies and help find companies and help grow companies. But there's some people who could just be passive, who could say, I'll help a little bit, but I have my own life. I'll help a little bit when I can, but I have my own company to take care of. And then finally, there's some people who just want the flexibility, as you can see on the bottom. The flexibility meaning the ability to come in one day or one season and come in for a few months and help, and then take a few months off. And that's the beauty of a DAO, that it allows people to be utilized to the extent that they want to be. It allows for bigger teams. It allows some people to be super obsessive. It allows some people to be more passive, but still engaged. And it allows for flexibility for people to come in at times and then take some space when they need that. And so at Orange DAO, when they presented this, when they put it together, they got 1,300 of America's top entrepreneurs to join together and create this DAO. There was an article in TechCrunch recently about how this group of entrepreneurs raised through the fund, and as you'll see later how it's all structured, through the fund that they're a part of and connected with, $80 million for this DAO to back crypto startups, to help the entrepreneurs that they want. So now this organization, Orange DAO, with its big team and its 1,300 members of incredible entrepreneurs and $80 million at their disposal, has gone on to do some funding to help entrepreneurs get funded. Within 9 months, they got 100 crypto projects and other startups funded. But they did more than funding. And that's the beauty of a DAO, that when you have all these incredible people together with a mission, you don't have to do the one single thing that you came up with in the beginning. You can expand your vision and do more. And so, yes, they funded entrepreneurs. Yes, they funded projects. But with all this group of people together, one of them said, you know what, why don't we go beyond? And he helped launch a fellowship, something they never anticipated when Orange started, when this DAO was beginning. And what's the fellowship? In the fellowship, they say, why are we just investing in startups, in crypto projects that exist? What if we can find something even smaller than that? How about a single person, someone who has the brains, the determination, the smarts to get into crypto and build a good project and build a good company? Let's invest in them and their education. We'll call it a fellowship, and they could spend some time learning. And if they create a company soon after that, we at Orange can take a percentage of that. And if they don't, no harm, no foul. They don't owe Orange DAO anything. And that's the fellowship. So in addition to funding, they also now have this fellowship where they help give money to entrepreneurs to increase their education so that they could create new crypto projects. They also created a podcast. You know, there's some people who aren't in a space where they want to invest, where they want to help find companies to invest in. They created a podcast to help evangelize and spread and teach what they're working on. They also acquired a clubhouse, like an in-person event space for Orange DAO. They never anticipated this, as far as I know, when they were launching Orange DAO, but the group realized that they need this, that they need a physical place to meet. And so they created a clubhouse. And then they created in-person events where hundreds of entrepreneurs can get together to talk about what the future of crypto can be, to help each other in person and to support the vision that they have together. This all from a group of people who decided to create a DAO. And their original idea was, let's create a better investment experience than what exists today, where one entrepreneur stands up and gets yelled at or gets ignored by investors. They created this, and they gathered 1,300 entrepreneurs together to work with them. They helped raise $80 million. And as a result, they helped with funding, a fellowship, a podcast, a clubhouse, events. And that's the beauty of getting together in an organized way, not a loose way where you hope everyone helps out and some members get exhausted and others are ignored, but an organized way. That's what a DAO is. That's the future that we see at Origami. Now I have so many of these stories. I've been doing a podcast of my own at Origami, where I've been interviewing DAOs, both ones that we've created and that have been created on their own. And I could see this in so many different industries, in so many different ways. And that's my role at Origami, to help evangelize it, to help get people like everyone who's on this call, who has a group of people that they're connected with, that they're aligned with, to think maybe we should be creating a DAO. And if we can help you at Origami, great. If not, I still want to support you and help you find your way. And I'll show you later on how, even if you don't want to work with us, we can still help you create your DAO. But back to our story. So of these 1,300 entrepreneurs who got together, these 4 who helped launch and grow Orange DAO decided, we want to help others do this. That's Johnny on the left, Matt, Ben, and Steven. They said, we're going to create an organization to do this. And they created Origami, a company that I'm involved with. Origami, we help ambitious communities launch and grow their DAOs. We are not, and I'll show you our software, but I wanted you to see what can happen if you put together a DAO with the right people in the right way. And that's what Origami does. Now, we believe that tools are not enough. You can go online right now. You can find all the software you need. In fact, I'll give you the software at the end of this conversation if you want it. But I'll tell you that software is not enough. What we are seeing is changing regulation, not just in America, but all over the world. We have seen this just a few weeks ago. Here it is. It's actually from September 2nd, 2022. The Commodities Futures Trading Commission penalized DAO and its members for not, and we believe that if they would have been structured properly, if they would have organized and done a few things differently, that they would have been able to avoid this penalty. And so when we say that tools are not enough, we mean you need the right structure to avoid problems. We mean that you need so much more to get yourself and your DAO organized to protect your team and your people and to allow them to work well together. And so at Origami, we do so much more. We do consulting, so we'll help DAOs think through how to structure themselves. We have the Origami framework, a framework that allows a DAO to accept investments, and I'll walk you through all of these in a moment, and I'll show you screenshots and I'll explain it to you, but I want you to know we have the Origami framework that allows you to set up your structure in 2 different sections, which I'll show you later, that allows you to both make investments if that's what you choose to do, but also to raise funds and do it properly. And we have software. Boy, do we have software. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. And we don't usually share it outside of our DAOs, but I've got some screenshots that I'll show you and I'll walk you through how the software works, because I think there's a real problem with DAO software design. And finally, we offer support. We've seen some of the smartest DAO members run into problems that are significant that can stop a DAO from growing. And with our experience, we have the support to help DAOs get past that. And with all of this, the team here at Origami has helped get Y Combinator alumni to launch Orange and grow Orange DAO, which I talked to you about. But there's so many others. The team here has helped Techstars, which is another group of entrepreneurs who've raised money, help Techstar alumni and their community grow Constellation DAO, another DAO. The Kauffman Fellows, these are a group of people who are investors who've learned and been led through the Kauffman Fellowship, which is a 2-year program. The Orange DAO team helped them create VC3, a new VC, a new venture capital structure. So I want to walk you through all of this. I've been asked to share how we work. I think it's important to look at each aspect of this because they're all important. So when we talk about consulting, we mean helping you really strategize this. Let's start with consulting because there's a clear process for getting you up and running. And that includes, as you'll see on the left of your screen, this is a screenshot from our boot up process. That includes charter drafting. A charter is that key document that helps every member of the DAO, from the first originating members to the next ones that haven't even thought about joining a DAO yet, but will come down years from now, help them understand how to function well together. So we help you set that up so that everyone knows the rules of the road. We also help set up a Discord so that there's a place for your community to talk, to engage, to have it done right so that it's not chaos, which I've been in a few, and I still am in a few DAO Discords. It's confusing and it's not set up well. We help set it up right. We help with NFT minting. So if you decide you only want a group of people in your community, we'll help create an NFT to allow just that group of people to join in. We'll help organize and set up the Origami software so that we have, as I'll show you in a moment, software that will help your DAO run well. We'll set it up so that you don't have to be left struggling with it. The charter signing and election so that we help your members sign the charter that you put together, and then elect the people who will help lead it. We'll help with season 0, which is the beginning of the DAO getting together and working, and of course with token launch. And that whole process, we estimate will take about a month. And we help work through that. All that thought, all that organization on the front end will allow your DAO to grow later on and allow it to avoid a lot of the pitfalls of other DAOs. And that's the consultative part. That's a little bit of the consultative part. There's also the Origami framework. This is a framework that will help structure your DAO properly. And now I want to share with you just one screenshot from the framework and walk you through a bit of it. But I want you to know this comes from a 29-page document that we have put together that will walk you through the framework that if anyone here wants it, I will hand it to you at the end of this session. I'll show you how you can get it at the end of the session. But instead of walking you through this full documentation and the whole Origami framework and how it helps entrepreneurs and how it helps DAO members stay safe and raise money and grow, I want to just pull out this one little section here that I took a screenshot of last night. And in fact, I want to highlight, and I did highlight last night, 2 sections of it that I think are important for helping you understand. The first is that, I'll read this. The framework is an alternative to the Moloch DAO and investment club-like structures. So if you're familiar with those, our framework is an alternative to it. And what does it do? Unlike them, we allow DAOs to benefit from the upside of venture capital, outside investors, other investment strategies without requiring DAO members to make investments, without requiring them to be accredited or to take on personal risk. It allows DAOs to scale past the 100-member limitations imposed on investment clubs. So this little thing here, I think is important to highlight. This one little piece of a 29-page document, I think is important to highlight, because what I want you to see is we have thought through how to raise money for a DAO so that the DAO can actually grow. We have thought through and have battle tested a process for keeping members safe. When you look at the people that we have worked with in the DAOs that we help launch, these are Techstars alumni, Y Combinator alumni, Kauffman Fellows. We're looking at people who have done a lot with their lives, who have accomplished a lot, who have a lot to lose, who are not looking to just create a DAO with some online service and hope that everything works out and take financial risk for themselves and their families. No, if they're going to be involved, they want to make sure that that section that I highlighted about personal risk, that is covered from the beginning. And that's why this document was put together. I want you to see a little bit of this because I think it's helpful. Here's the structure that you'll see in our framework. You can see on the left that there's the core DAO framework, and on the right you see this is from a structure. This is when the structure is applied to a DAO. On the right you can see the venture fund. Notice that we keep them at arm's length from each other. Notice that they're separated. Notice that what you'll have is the DAO, which is on the left, the community of people, and on the right you have the venture fund, which allows it to make investments, which allows it to be open to outside LPs, limited partners. And by creating things that way and separating them, you can stay on the right side of regulations. And the carry, as you'll see right here, carry is the money that funds make on the investments that they've made. That can get passed into the DAO, and in return, the DAO can pass tokens to the venture fund. And by creating this structure, you're allowing the DAO to be open to outside LPs, to raising money. You're allowing the DAO, though, to also help the fund by scouting out for investments that the fund should be making, by supporting the venture fund over here with the investments that they've made. So if an entrepreneur in the DAO or one of the members of the DAO has an idea for how to help a project that the fund is invested in, there's the ability to come in and say, we're going to help you. And why would they help? Not just out of the kindness of their heart, so that's important too, but because there's also carry floating back into the framework. So this is essentially the structure with the DAO members here, the DAO entity, which is a separate structure, and then the operations down here. And again, the document will walk anyone through the Origami framework, but this is the structure that has helped so many other members of DAOs protect themselves and function and grow and raise money. And it's not just meant for venture DAOs that are making investments in the future, in future projects, in future startups, but it's also meant for others. That we see a world where there are DAOs that are gaming guilds, where gamers come together. We have seen DAOs where in the real world, people will buy land or buy buildings, and they also want to be able to raise money. They also want to grow. They also want to be structured right. We see a world where there are DAOs that are looking to buy football teams around the world. They're raising money and they want the ability to go and buy one of these teams. Who knows? Maybe at a future FIFA, we will see a DAO own a soccer team or a football team. Again, this is our framework. This is one of the things that we have worked on and tested, and it's part of a documented process that we have put together. And that's part of the Origami framework. But we're more than consulting. We're more than a framework. We're also software. We are a DAO operating system that allows you to pick the best of the best tooling that's out there. And we know that there's great software out there for DAOs. We've seen it. We use it ourselves. But we also know that some of the software is not so great. And we want you to be able to pick the best, whether it's software that we create, software that you see, software that gets invented tomorrow or a year from now, and integrate it all into one place that your members and your DAO's leaders can use and enjoy using. And that's a software component of Origami. And if you take a look here, this is one of our dashboard screens. It's beautiful. It comes in dark mode, it comes in light mode, and it's organized for your members to be able to actually see what's happening in the DAO. Too many times I've been involved in DAOs where I see that there's a lot of information, but you have to go to one site to get one piece of information. You have to know how to organize and get it from another place. And then you have to go into Discord and hunt for it. No, this is all together. And you can see that, yes, the latest proposals are up there, easy to read. Any intelligent person can log in here and see that. And of course, we integrate with Discord. So of course, we want your members to be able to chat with each other and communicate with each other and work well together. And we make that accessible from here. But we also, on the same page, will let them see their safe transactions, the pending transactions. We also let them see how the DAO is growing, how the DAO is doing, all in one screen, to be able to take that in and to see who the leadership of the DAO is and have an easy way to communicate with leadership, to see the assets of the DAO and so much more, as you can see here on your screen. And this is one screen, densely populated with the right information, organized in a beautiful way, because our team has got designers in addition to developers, people who can put together data in a way that is useful for your DAO members. It's confusing enough to be part of a DAO for new people. They shouldn't have to wade through ugly, distracting software in multiple locations. It should be organized together. And when it is, people are more effective. This is why people like to work with Origami. We have an allow list to make it easy for the DAO to say, they're a group of people that we want to invite and accept and have as part of our community. And we want to make sure that it's easy for them to invite them in and to keep the right people in the DAO and the wrong people out of the DAO. We, of course, will allow the committee memberships to be organized well. I want you to see this one other thing. I won't take you through an exhaustive set of screenshots of every part of the software. I want you to know it integrates the software that you need, both the ones that the tools that we've created and the ones that are outside, in a beautiful, easy to navigate way. But I wanted to highlight this because I like this screen. A way for the DAO to communicate with its members, to communicate with its committees. The reason that I want to bring this up is this isn't just a send broadcast message through Discord. It allows the DAO to communicate with its members through Discord and through email, to communicate with teams. And the reason that I want to bring this up is there are lots of different ways that people prefer to be communicated with. There are lots of different groups of people who need communication. We want to get the right message from your DAO to the right people using the medium that they prefer and that they're more likely to be engaged with. And so our broadcast message isn't just log into Discord and send a message, but it's here, find the right people and send it to them on Discord if you choose, or send it to them via email if you choose. And that's a little bit of the software that we have put together. Finally, I want you to know that it's also support. I've now watched through Origami so many really intelligent people. We're looking at smart people who built tech companies who struggle with screens like this in a wallet. What's a hex? Why am I even here? What's this wallet do? Little things like that will trip up DAO members, even the smartest. In fact, I would even say that the smartest people are often the busiest people who don't have time to catch little issues with software that, to be honest with you, in Web3 is often a little too clunky. And when they have a problem, that's when they start to check out and start to ignore the DAO because they think they've made a mistake. Well, in those situations, we have a team of people who are experienced, who are there to help and to make sure that the software is improved if it's a software problem, even if it's built by someone else, or that the experience is improved for your DAO members. And our support is what allows your members to know that if they have a problem, they don't have to say, I'm getting out of here, or I can tune it out and go deal with my other issues. But the support is what allows them to see this and get past it and know that they could be helped. And so Origami is consulting. We will help you think it through and organize your DAO well from the beginning so that throughout the life of the DAO, it's organized well. It's the Origami framework that allows, among other things, for your DAO to be structured right, to be on the right side of regulation, and also to help it raise money, to help it grow beyond 100 members, to help it really be a fully functioning organization, not just a nice little quirky Web3 thing. It's also software that's designed by incredible designers, by an incredible team. And finally, it's support, because sometimes software is not enough, and a real human being who has been there, who's experienced it, is what your DAO members need. And all of that together is what DAO is. If anyone wants to work with us, I want you to know that all you have to do is go to joinorigami.com and apply to work with us. But I told you at the very beginning of this section that my job isn't just to get you to sign up to Origami. In fact, that's not my job at all. I'm here to just help you build your DAO any way that you want. And so I will give you the tools. If you email me, Andrew at Join Origami, I'll give you all the tools that you need, a link to every tool that you need in order to create your DAO if you choose not to work with us. I've got a database of investors that we use internally. As you saw at the beginning in the introduction, we've raised money recently. Our DAOs have raised money. We have an internal database of investors, many of them people that you know and have heard of, and we've got their contact information and the DAOs they've helped back. But we also in our database have others that you hadn't heard of, and I'll make that available to you if you have a DAO, if you have aspirations to create a DAO. I'll just give it to you so you can contact them. Number 3, I've got a list of reporters. We got tons of press when we raised money for Origami recently. That press has helped bring more people to us. Well, we put a list of reporters together that we used with their email address, with articles that they've written, with information about them. We have that database and we make it accessible to our DAOs. I'm happy, since I'm here today, to say if anyone wants that, so that you can reach out and tell reporters your story and help get the word out about your DAO or any crypto project, I will give it to you. And of course, as I said earlier, if you'd like the Origami framework because you're looking to structure your own DAO, I'm happy to give it to you. I will give this all to you even if you never work with Origami again. Even if you just have aspirations and curiosity about creating a DAO or a crypto project, I'm here to help you do your best work. And of course, the team at Origami, if you decide to work with us, you can just go to joinorigami.com and apply to work with us. Thank you for having me here today. I'm looking forward to seeing the DAOs that have come up from this. And if you have a DAO today and you need support, I'm looking forward to helping you. And if you have a DAO today and you're looking to be interviewed and help get promotion, I'm happy to help you. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Yeah, thank you so much. We really actually appreciate that for sharing. It's a really amazing sharing, and we actually love the way you put things together, especially the way you introduce the DAO and kind of critical features that forms the DAO, and what does Origami do, and how we could help the community to create their own DAOs. It's really impressive, and it's I believe that a lot of our community members definitely learn a lot. And if anyone is interested in joining Origami, just feel free to reach out to us, reach out to Origami directly, and send emails to Andrew. So they'll always be there. And I personally is kind of have kind of a connection with Origami, in the way that Mr. Warner has put things together is really, really impressive. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. 所以呢，我们这边也非常我们这边也非常的感谢 Mr. Warner 今晚的一个精彩分享啊。那他其实非常引人入胜的一个描绘啊，相信大家听完之后呢，对 DAO 肯定会有了一个更加深层次的一个认识。那 DAO 这个形式的存在呢，也是随着 Web3 这个领域而随时的激发起来的。所以呢 Origami 在这个时间段，在这个生态中承担起的角色呢，就是帮各种各样的 DAO 去组织起来、建立起来、维护起来，它可以正常的运行，一直到它可以拿到正常的融资。那 Origami 呢，它本身也拿到了$650万的一个融资，所以呢，它也有内部的投资者的一些名单。所以呢，其实任何人有关于建立到的想法，其实都可以去联系 Origami。那 Mr. Warner 也会非常高兴来帮助你们。你们有任何的需求，包括他刚刚介绍所有的软件framework 所有的一些文档，它都是可以无偿的提供给大家去使用和参考。那这个呢，也是我们非常感谢啊，我们今天也非常荣幸邀请到Mr. Warner 到我们的直播间。那今天的话呢，我们今天的分享时间也差不太多，那也就到这边就结束了，我们就下周二的同一时间和大家再见。So thanks again, Mr. Warner. That's a very insightful sharing. It's very amazing, and we are looking forward to stay in touch with you, and hopefully we can have future collaboration with Origami, and probably in hackathon, probably in other different special events, hopefully in the near future. So I think that's pretty much everything for today. And thanks again for coming, and we'll see you guys the same time next Tuesday. So bye bye, guys.